Hello Taurus, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for your October 2023 Tarotscope. It is such a pleasure and an absolute blessing to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies, including my social media, information on personal readings, and donations if you would like to explore those a bit more. There will also be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. October is a universal 8-month, and this is an energy of renewal, reminding us that all things in life are connected to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. We're being encouraged to focus on universal connectedness and collective humanity. We're also being empowered towards expansion, growth, and divine compassion, which is what we're going to be exploring for this month's Tarotscope. We're going to be looking at the overall energy, what is coming to an end, what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for you. And we're also going to be getting some wisdom that will best support your healing, your growth, and evolution in your journey. So let's dive in and see what's coming in for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of October 2023 for Taurus. Tell us, please. Thank you. What is coming to an end for Taurus this October 2023? Thank you. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Taurus? Thank you. What wisdom will best support Taurus in their healing, growth, and evolution, please? What wisdom will best support Taurus? Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Taurus. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please. What is coming to an end? Okay. Tell us more, please. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Taurus? Thank you very much. Tell us more, please, about the wisdom that will best support Taurus in their healing, growth, and evolution. Tell us more, please. Okay, thank you. All right, your overall energy. Okay, tell us more about what is coming to an end for Taurus. Tell us more, please. What is coming to an end for Taurus in October 2023? All right. Tell us more, please. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Taurus in October 2023? What is being rebirthed, renewed, or beginning for Taurus, please? All right, thank you. Tell us more about the wisdom that will best support Taurus in their healing, growth, and evolution, please. Tell us more about the wisdom that will best support Taurus in their healing, growth, and evolution. Ooh, that's a lot of cards, but I'm being told to take them, so I will. All right. I do appreciate your patience. We are working with a lot of cards for this month, so thank you for that. Anything we need to know or may have missed, please, about the overall energy for Taurus? Okay. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what is coming to an end? All right, thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Taurus, please? Anything I feel like it's this one here. Thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed in regards to the wisdom? Yeah, there's quite a few cards there as well. All right. So let's move these out of the way and jump in. All right, Taurus. So for October 2023, your overall energy, we do have inner temple devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. So I really feel as though, okay, I feel like Taurus, for whatever reason, it feels like you may have been on or yeah, it really feels like you've been on this journey of one step at a time. So I'm being very drawn to the staircase here in the middle of the card. And the way that it's being shown to me is I feel like you've been taking one step at a time towards the things that you feel more likely moment by moment that bring you this feeling of fulfillment, or that we might say align with your heart, that you feel called to. It feels like the way it feels to me is almost as if it's maybe what some would call a bit impulsive or sporadic, not sporadic, spontaneous. Thank you. So it feels like, oh, I'm going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to do this type of thing, which I think is, beautiful, following your intuition and allowing that to lead you. But I feel like for this month, there's something here more about balance. The way that the beings or the women on this card have their hands is reminding me of scales and being a bit more balanced. It does feel like there is this encouragement in the overall energy for you to continue to follow your heart, but I do feel that there's something about bringing some kind of practice in. Perhaps this is something like meditation or yoga or journaling or prayer or something, but it feels like there's a need for some kind of consistency towards some kind of practice. It feels as though there's what we might call like untapped potential, which is interesting. I just saw 7:17 on the clock, which is very much about being on the right path, having the support around you to lead you and guide you, those sorts of things. So I don't want to say that you're on the wrong path or you're doing the wrong things, because I don't feel like that's true. But I do feel like there's untapped potential within you that could be awakened, if you will, by implementing a more consistent spiritual practice, or something where you're more devoted to some kind of spiritual practice. Now, this could look like anything, really. I mean, it can show up in a multitude of ways. Like I said, some of the key ones that come to mind right away are like meditation, yoga, journaling, prayer. Perhaps it's expanding your knowledge of maybe something like spiritual science. That may be something you want to look into. I don't know why this is coming through this way, but Rudolf Steiner is a really good place for things like this. Exploring spirituality from that perspective, I feel like is incredible for growth and evolution. Gigi Young has an amazing channel here on YouTube that you might find beneficial. But I feel like there's something here about being more focused on a spiritual practice. Okay, because I feel like following your intuition is wonderful. Aligning with your capital I, and your own truth, your soul's true essence, is something that's absolutely amazing, and I would encourage that always. But there's something here about bringing a bit more structure to it. All right. And I feel like that's where the overall energy is sitting. But there is that energy to keep aligning with your heart. Okay, so it's like kind of maybe having that be like the focal point is aligning with your heart. But again, bringing something in that brings a bit more structure to it. Okay. We have here, yeah, the Hierophant. That's so funny. That's so funny. Typically, the Hierophant is, I don't want to say it's an energy that I don't like, But more often than not, I'm all about breaking free from the norms, doing things different, not being afraid of like rocking the boat, for example. But I feel as though in this case, there's something here about exploring more spiritual traditions, okay? And I'm not speaking on this from like a dogmatic religion perspective, but rather from things that are going to help you to better understand your own evolution, um, and through the lens, if you will, of spirituality. Okay, so I'm not talking like Darwin and that kind of evolution. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Again, spiritual science is coming through very loudly. So that may be something you want to explore. Again, I'm drawn to the fact that you have staircases in both of these cards because I feel like, thank you. I just got the message. It's time to take the next step. It's like to be more devoted to it, right? I actually just, this is not something that I do very often, but yeah, and I opened up to it almost right away. I'm getting some fear here because how do I say this? There's a feeling before I read these keywords, there's a feeling here of maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed because there are so many different spiritual practices. Certainly, a lot of them have religions formed around them, but I'm talking about moving past the religion. Okay, I'm talking about getting more in the esoteric um, field or space of certain spiritual practices. Again, interestingly, which is, this is not something that occurs very often for me when I read, is the Hierophant representing this need for that, like the need to explore more traditional spiritual avenues. Okay, and again, maybe you align with more Eastern traditions, maybe you align with more Western traditions, right? Eastern traditions would be more, like maybe Buddhism or Hinduism or something. But there's also the more Western traditions and maybe aligning more with like esoteric Christianity or spiritual science. But here in the upright, so according to Chris Ann, the author of the Light Seer's Tarot, in the upright or light seer position, the Hierophant represents tradition, a lesson, spiritual leader or guide, enlightenment, awakening, in service of spirit, formal education or training, and new paradigms. Okay, so it's really interesting because here I actually feel very called to read this all to you, so I'm going to. Okay, it does say here, as you search for your divine truth, you create frameworks of belief that help you to expand your consciousness and ground your faith into this reality. If you've been stuck in an old tradition or a structured way of acting or being that is no longer serving you, it is time to let it fall away in order to make space for a better version of you. The Hierophant serves as a gateway between divine source and the seeker. So be open to new paradigms, perspectives, and teachers in your life. Look to the patterns around you and strive to understand your own internal compass. Know that while there is wisdom in the teachings of the mystics, the voice of your own heart is the one voice that matters the most. Find the wisdom of the heavens within. So it's very interesting, right? Because I did say here, everything comes, or excuse me, everything happens for a reason. Nothing comes from nothing. And I did say here that the key here is finding some kind of practice that is in alignment with your heart. Okay, and that is the key. Again, this could be more Eastern traditions or maybe more Western traditions, but regardless of whatever that is for you, it's important for it to align with your heart. Okay, but again, I really feel like this month is about taking that next step and finding a practice that you're more devoted to, that you sink more deeply into, that you make a part of your reality. We do have the Ace of Wands, freaking fascinating. So I love this because there's this energy here not only, I mean, first of all, of a beginning, um, certainly. So, that step up. And like I said, I feel like there's untapped potential, which ones are often representations of that. I do feel that there's an overall energy here of following whatever brings about this enthusiasm or inspiration within you. Okay, it feels like following or finding or discovering something that really ignites that flame. And I feel as though, again, that it's, I feel like it's so much about whatever's burning within you. So, for example, if you're out like exploring, let's say, or, you know, um, poking into or peeking into different, let's say, spiritual practices, or you're looking at your options, let's say, the one that really excites you, the one that really draws you in, that ignites this fire within you, I feel like that's the path to choose. Again, it's very much about, I feel, being in alignment with whatever your heart is calling to you. Okay, because I feel like that's the path that's going to take you to where you need to go. That's really going to help you to tap into that potential that is looming or just waiting to be further developed. You also look at this, more fire. Chamber of the Violet Flame, karmic release, radical transformation. Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel as though with the overall energy here and the root of it, if you will, or the base of it being tuning into the portal of your heart and finding a practice that really speaks to you and your soul. I feel as though, again, this could potentially allow for this radical transformation to take place, to really, I'm kind of seeing it almost like, I mean, I know it looks that way here. I don't know if you can see that, like a lotus, or like some kind of flower, maybe not a lotus specifically, but some kind of flower here. So I'm seeing it as this like unfolding, right? Or opening up. And I feel as though, again, I keep being brought back to this focus on what ignites that fire within you, because I feel like it's likely to create this tremendous transformation in your life and in your journey. And I feel like it could open up the potential that you hold within. It's interesting because the karmic release is kind of lingering in the background. It's energetically speaking. Certainly, we are all moving through various different things in our experience, which we are trying to release or heal or, detach from. And there certainly could be those things around you that are being called to be released. For some of you, I feel that some of the fear, or some of what you may be releasing, is fear around spiritual practice. And the reason I feel like that's coming in is because for some of you, I feel as though there's this, how do I say, association, thank you, with more what we would call dogmatic religion. And that's not the path that I feel is being encouraged here. Though no judgment for anyone. You're going to choose whatever you feel is best for you, whatever aligns with your heart. If that's dogmatic religion, okay, fine, right? I'm just the messenger. But there's something here around, for some of you, around potentially releasing some outdated paradigms or beliefs or whatever traditions, or programmings around religion, and to explore it in a more esoteric sense, right? So I feel as though, again, it just feels like you're being called to look at this from a different perspective, to find a practice that you feel called to, that aligns with your heart, that can allow you to take that next step in your unfolding, to bring forward this untapped potential. Transformation. I mean, there's twice here we've had that word now. You use the power of love to move through illusions and shift into awareness. And I do feel, again, right? I feel like the illusion is showing up as potentially viewpoints or perspectives that you may have held on, again, religion or spirituality. You know, you may, I mean, and this doesn't have to be like Christianity or you know, Buddhism or whatever. It can also be, you know, seeing or having these certain beliefs or perspectives on what one might call like witchcraft or the occult. You know, and not that I'm, it's all very profaned. A lot of spirituality or spiritual practices have been profaned. Um, and you know, the occult gets a bad rep, but if you understand it from a deeper perspective and from a more from the root, it's not what it's made out to be in, let's say, like Hollywood or, you know, things like this. So it does feel here that there's a need to, you know, see past some of the belief systems that you may have taken on, or some of the programming or paradigms that have been put before you, and to follow your heart, to move through the illusions, and then to then allow yourself to be changed or transformed through awareness, through the actual gaining of wisdom and knowledge. Okay. Again, you may want to explore something like spiritual science. Rudolf Steiner has a book on, is it occult history? Something along those lines. And of course, like I said earlier, Gigi Young, her channel here on YouTube is amazing and dives deep into the occult and you know, brings clarity around things that have been severely profaned. So that may be something you'd like to explore. But again, I feel like there's some release here around some of those paradigms or those outdated belief systems, which, should you be able to see past those and to explore and go deeper into, you know, these spiritual topics, you may find that it shifts you tremendously. Okay. Certainly it has for me. So what is coming to an end for you, Taurus? You have, here's that word again, you have transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. Yeah. I feel like you're moving out of I mean, there's changes coming, certainly with the Hierophant being the number 5. This could feel unstable. It could bring about maybe some conflict, but I feel like the biggest thing here is movement. Right. And I do feel that, how do I say this? Again, it feels to me as though you've been following intuitive callings and potentially acting on some of those. Some of them may be very big, you know, maybe moving from one place to another, getting out or into certain relationships, whether that be with friends or romantically, however it shows up. You know, you may have been taking certain steps intuitively, again, whether they be large or small. However, this again, this feels like, I feel like doing this, even though you've been making these changes or following your intuition, it could have had you at a bit of a standstill. Like you may have felt like you've plateaued in a sense, or maybe things have just been kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's like it's just been working, kind of. But I feel like this month is encouraging you to take that a bit deeper, again, to take the next step. And so I feel like what's coming to an end here is almost this standstill, or it's like, again, like I'm almost seeing it as like shifting over to like the next lane or taking the next step. So I feel that I feel like that's what's changing. That's what's coming to an end. Okay. And some of the things, it's interesting because some of the calls that you may have made, um, yeah, that's interesting. That they may have been, though I feel like they could have been, how do I say this? It feels like the changes that have been made previously have been more surface level. Like maybe you've changed where you live. Maybe you've changed your job. Maybe you've changed your relationships, right? It feels like you're trying to align with your inner knowing, but have been changing things on an external level. And so this is, again, this is taking it more, it's taking it deeper. Okay. Yeah. And so I said, I feel like that, like the surface level changes, and just seeing things from that perspective, or altering things from that space is what's changing or coming to an end. I feel like, now it's like, okay, let's go deeper. Now let's really put effort in here. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not saying you're not doing work, okay? Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I feel like some of you may actually be either preparing for a birth, or maybe giving birth this month. And so what's coming to an end is your life before that. Okay? If that makes sense. It's kind of interesting. But if you don't resonate with that, I feel as though what's coming to an end is the old way of being, the old way of doing things. It feels like, which this showed up, there was a similar energy with Aries for this month. So maybe you have some Aries placements, and if that's true, you may want to check out that reading as well. But I feel as though, again, part of what's coming to an end here is like the surface level, or the external attention, if you will. Like it doesn't feel as gratifying, it doesn't feel as satisfying. And that's not to say that you haven't been growing, or haven't been working towards growing, or working on your healing, or these sorts of things. But it's like, okay, now you've got to go deeper though. Now you've got to take it to the next level. It's not just about dreaming about it, it's about actually doing it. It's about putting the work in. Okay. And it's not easy, right? Diving that deep is not easy at all. It's really not. But I feel as though there's some aspect of you that is coming to an understanding, or has come to an understanding, that essentially you are the creator of your reality. The choices you make, the things you decide to do, it impacts how your journey unfolds, certainly. Which may bring some fear up, and as it should. However, I feel like, again, what's coming to an end here is doing the deeper dive, going deeper, not just looking at things from a surface level, and not just dreaming about things, or it just feels like a pause. That's what it feels like. It feels like a pause. Like, okay, there are these things that I want to accomplish, and you like think about them, or dream about them, or whatever it is, but it's like, okay, now we actually have to go deep enough in order to bring that through. Okay? It's a little bit difficult to translate the energy, but I hope that makes sense. You also have here break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I feel that there are things here, like I said, there are things here that could have come from old paradigms, old traditions, old beliefs that have been passed down, right? That you've taken on, that are now coming to an end. Or you're now being encouraged to allow them, rather, to come to an end. There is, again, healing is coming up yet again. Okay. And so I do feel that this coming to an end is perpetuated via healing, via the effort to heal. And I feel as though, we have birthing a new age here and rewriting the future, because I feel, again, not to be overly repetitive, but again, it's a whole new chapter. Okay. Really birthing a new age, rewriting the future. It's like leaving the past versions of yourself behind and moving forward with this new kind of devotion and dedication to your own healing, to your own transformation on a very deep level. And it's interesting because we have this, I don't know if you can tell, but the figures start inside the cave and work their way out. Because I feel as though there's almost been this kind of hiding. Okay, you may have, and maybe you resonate with this, maybe you don't, but you may have been hiding from your own healing. There may be things that you have not wanted to face or address or acknowledge or dive into. But I feel as though it's time to come out now. Again, it's not about just dreaming about it. It's about actually doing it, about taking the actual steps to create that change, right? You also have here, yep, Seven of Swords, different tactics, different strategies, choosing a new way of doing things. Absolutely. So again, it's like pivoting, it's shifting. What you have, I'm not saying what you have been doing has been wrong. I want to make that very, very clear. You know your journey. I don't. However, it feels like it's time to pivot now. It's time to do things differently. It's not about being repetitive and doing the same thing that you've been doing, because even if it's been working, it's not creating the growth that can help to unfold that potential within you, that can really bring about incredible transformation for you. Okay? So again, I feel like I'm going to sound repetitive, and I mean, it is what it is. I just really feel here that this is about diving deeper. The Magician in the reverse, fascinating. Yeah. Remember how I said you may have come to terms with or started to understand that you create your reality. I mean, the Magician is a representation of creation. And in the reverse, there's these more hidden aspects. Okay. These more repressed aspects, or these secrets. And it feels not only that, but it can be this representation of being, or falling into a state of like illusion. And I feel as though, again, what is coming to an end is almost this. How do I say? Bringing to the surface some of these things that you've been hiding behind. That's what it feels like. Because you do have the power, again, to create your reality. And I feel like you may have some understanding of this on a more surface level. For example, I do create my reality by choosing where I live, by choosing the job I do, by choosing the people that I'm around. And certainly that is true, but it goes much deeper than that. Right? It goes much, much deeper than that. So I feel as though, again, what's coming to an end is this kind of sitting on your hands type of energy. Thinking that, how do I say, like, I feel like exploring things in a deeper level is going to bring that awareness of the power that you truly hold. because there is this energy of things being repressed or hidden or um, behind an illusion type of energy. Okay, so I feel like that's coming to an end. The illusion is coming to an end, especially as you shift, as you choose a different tactic or a different strategy, or you pivot. I feel like you will start to be more aware of your creative ability and how it's like how deep that really is. I hope that makes sense. Because we all, this is for everyone, we all have skills and wisdom and talent and power that's untapped. Why? Because we've been living in an illusion. Okay? That goes for everyone. I mean, for the longest time, we were taught to believe, like, for example, and maybe you don't agree with this, that's perfectly okay. But oh, telepathy is something in movies. Well, actually, there are a lot of people who are empathic and who have that ability to really read people. Maybe you have been sitting and thinking of somebody and then all of a sudden they call you. Or you're sitting and talking with somebody and you say something and they're like, get out of my head. Like, I was just thinking that. Right? So we have this potential, but it's been hidden behind illusion, behind, we're taught to believe it's all fantasy. So I feel like diving more deeply into things like spiritual science or esoteric Christianity or some kind of spiritual tradition that has been passed down through, thousands and thousands of years, that has nothing to do with dogmatic religion, though maybe that's your path and that's fine. I feel like it's going to open up that potential. Okay. I have karmic board clearing. I mean, here again, rewriting the future, rewrite your story. Karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. So what is coming to an end? Again, it's this idea that this is how the story goes. I only have control over where I live or who I talk to or, this, that, and the other. And the truth is there's a whole nother story there. And the truth, I mean, again, I feel like there's a chapter closing for you. Should you allow it? Of course, it's your choice. There's a chapter closing for you, which ultimately could lead to, again, notice the hands here on this being. I mean, it's like this kind of like, right, this opening up. I feel like, choosing to allow certain things to come to an end, choosing to delve into this more deeply, releasing your fear is likely to allow you to align with your truth, right? And two, again, rewrite the story to start a new chapter. So I feel like this chapter, whatever chapter you are in and have been in for a time, is ending. You also have the Ace of Wands followed by the Magician. Both are ones. Both are about potential. Both are about new beginnings. Both are about opportunity. So it feels like it's really just opening up for you if you allow it. You do have gratitude. You fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, there's been this, it feels like a clinging to certain stories. Okay. And certainly, this could have something to do with some kind of pain, grief, suffering, trauma, heartache, whatever it is. I feel like there's been a clinging to that. And what I mean by clinging is clinging to the pain, clinging to the suffering, clinging to the story. And it feels as though this is coming to an end, where you may find, as you pivot, as you learn more, as you dive deeper, as you come to understand spiritual development, spiritual evolution, human evolution, right? Again, like things like anthroposophy, spiritual science, I feel as though the more you explore these things, the more gratitude you're going to feel for the things that you've experienced. Why? Because we can't evolve and we can't grow without these catalysts. There's potential in pain. There's potential in grief. There's potential in suffering. And though they are not easy, though it is not like, oh yeah, let me, I'm so excited about this. Okay, that's not what I'm saying here. But it's an understanding that through those experiences, we are given an opportunity to grow. We are given an opportunity to see our true potential, our true strength, our true courage, our true wisdom. We're able to gain things through those experiences, however difficult they may be, which ultimately, again, allow us to blossom, become aware of our truth, live our truth. Okay? We've all kind of been in those situations where we didn't want to do something or we were afraid of doing something, and then we did it, and then that encouraged us to do something else, or that took us to a new level, that made us have confidence in ourselves, made us believe in ourselves, right? Encouraged us to do something like, what's the next thing that I can face? And I think that's what's showing up here. I feel like what's coming to an end is just clinging to these old stories, and allowing the healing to happen. And then once you do that, I feel like it's going to bring in this sense of gratitude, and you could potentially release the pain, right? Rewrite the story, close the chapter on that part of your life, and let it go. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning? Ooh, you have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. Yes, this is what I was talking about, right? Because again, when you explore more deeply evolution from a spiritual perspective, okay, from the space of what we might call the initiate, you realize the power that you hold. You gain this understanding about what is actually within you, the potential that you actually have. And I feel like this is what is being renewed within you, or rebirthed within you, is the understanding that you have so much more wisdom, so much more knowledge, so much more power, so much more magic than what you may have ever thought possible. You may develop this deep reverence for yourself and where you find yourself today. Should you allow yourself to learn about these things, to dive deeper, or to take a more esoteric approach to spirituality? That's something that, I've learned in my own journey, is that a lot of the new age stuff isn't deep enough. It doesn't allow for this deep understanding truly of spirituality. It's very surface level. It's very like, how would I say, almost like immediate gratification, okay, type of thing, where it lacks structure, it lacks the depth. And I feel like, again, this is being renewed within you, is this deep understanding of what it truly means to be you on this planet right now, and the potential that you hold within you, because you are you on this planet right now. Yeah, you have the Fool in the reverse. So like I was saying, this fear of, really, it really feels like I don't want to jump. Not having a whole lot of faith, right? This fear of taking that leap, this pause, right? I feel like this is, again, you've been training for this for lifetimes, and I feel like what is beginning here for you is this renewal in trusting yourself on a very deep level with deep things, having faith in your own potential. The fear I feel of looking foolish, okay, I feel like is what is being, let's say, renewed, like, or no, is being rebirthed as confidence. I hope that makes sense, right? So I mean, you have a lot here about beginnings, about new starts, and I feel as though, again, with that Fool in reverse, it's like, I don't want to take that leap. I don't want to take that jump. What if I look stupid? What if I don't like what I see? What if it's wrong, right? Like there's this whole kind of fear of like not trusting self, of not having that faith, and I feel like this is changing within you, because should you explore this energy that's coming in, I feel as though you'll come to understand that you can trust yourself, you can have faith in yourself. It's okay to take that leap, because you'll see things from a very different perspective, because you have far more wisdom within you than what you may have believed previously. You are far more powerful than what you may have believed previously, right? There's that need to trust that deep inner knowingness. And I'm not just talking about your intuition tells you to move, so you move. That's not what I'm saying. It's the deep, 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 deep inner knowing of self, right? We go through a lot of things in our lives where we are programmed to not trust ourselves. And I feel like this is what is shifting within you. This is what is being renewed within you, is the ability to trust yourself, to take that leap. But it is going, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Taurus. It is going to require you to let go, to free fall, if you will, into the arms of the universe, trusting yourself to go deep, trusting yourself to face what is before you, that loss, that grief, that disappointment, okay? The things you regret, that pain, okay? And I feel like, again, I know I'm going to sound repetitive, and that's fine. But I feel like what's being renewed for you is your faith in yourself and your ability to move through the pain, to move through the fear, to move through, the, I don't want to leap. I feel like it's renewing your faith in your ability to face whatever is before you at any given moment, regardless if you are at the top of a mountain or, deep in the trenches, whatever that looks like, because you have so much more within you than what you may have given yourself credit for, or what you've allowed yourself to believe. And again, I feel like exploring some of these deeper practices, and maybe it's just something as simple as meditation, could open your eyes to what is truly within you. Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. I feel as though, it's interesting that we have the Akashic Stargate here, because I feel like this is opening up the library that is you, that is your soul, that is the accomplishments, right? You've been training for this for lifetimes. I feel like learning how to trust yourself again, right? Working through all of this, I feel will birth, if you will, that purpose within you. Okay, because it's not just about you being here on this planet and, going to your job and, doing all the normal, very humanly things, if you will. And I get a lot of fear coming up for you, Taurus. It's not just about that. There is a whole nother aspect of what we're supposed to be doing here. A whole nother purpose that we are meant to be accomplishing and achieving. Again, if you explore some of these deeper spiritual traditions, you will come to understand what those things are. Okay? I do feel like I mean, it goes without saying, but you have a choice to make, right? You have crossroads here, and there's this energy of fearing that leap, of fearing facing the things that you maybe know you need to, trusting yourself enough to delve into them. And I feel as though, it is your choice. You don't have to take the next step. You don't have to dive deeper. It is all your choice. But if you truly want to experience life from a different perspective, to truly transform, to have more than just the surface level, let's say, satisfaction, which is very short-lived, by the way, in most cases, and you want to align with purpose, that you've got to take that leap. Right? If you want more than the surface level, it's about diving deeper. If you want more fulfillment on a very deep level, it's about trusting yourself enough to take that leap and to align with that deeper purpose. But again, it's interesting because, the Akashic is essentially the record, if you will, of the cosmos, of your soul, right? Of all the things. And I certainly feel as though with this age of light, you've been training for this for lifetimes. And now the Akashic Stargate, there is certainly that draw to you have so much more potential within you. There's so much more here to understand and know about yourself that is just waiting for you to find. Ha! Cannot make this up. You have purpose. You possess the determination and dedication to consciously demonstrate love, right? So you have aligned with purpose here, and purpose showing up again. I'm gonna sound repetitive, like a friggin' broken record. But if you're still here, I do feel like this purpose that you hold deep within is being renewed. Okay? Or maybe if you've never experienced it, in this lifetime before, maybe it feels like it's just beginning. But I feel like what is taking place here with the energy is to reconnect you, reconnect your soul, that deeper inner, that deep inner calling with your purpose, with who you truly are. So lots of wisdom here for you, Taurus. What will best support your healing, growth, and evolution? Share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. What did I say here? Right? It's like the beings are coming out of the cave, like they've been in hiding. The wisdom here for you is to come out of that cave. Again, you have persecution here on this card as well, which is saying, there's that fear of, what if I look stupid? What if, XYZ, fill in the blank. But the wisdom here is like, no. The point is for you to see the turbulent water, see the challenge before you, and to embark anyways, because on the other side of those challenges and obstacles is truth, right? It's finding fulfillment in who you truly are. So again, I feel, the wisdom that's going to support you is to come out of that cave, to stop hiding, to stop fearing the treacherous water in order to experience what's on the other side of that. And for some of you, maybe it's fear of trusting yourself. Maybe there's things that need healing. Certainly things that maybe you have been disappointed about, or people or things or whatever it is that you may have lost. Okay. Some kind of bereavement of some kind. But on the other side of that is a whole nother experience. And I feel like this is the wisdom that's best going to support your healing, growth, and evolution, is to allow yourself to face that and get on the other side of it, because there's a whole new experience waiting, right? Birthing a new age, rewriting the future, rewriting your story. there's a whole nother chapter on the other side of all of the things that you maybe have been avoiding. Play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. I mean, yeah, you know, I feel like so there's interesting aspects that are coming through with this, okay? Because I feel as though some people do take spirituality like super serious, which I'm not saying that there isn't some level of seriousness to be had, or that should be um, in place, if you will. But, you know, at the same time, it's like you can start by simply exploring, by not taking it so seriously, by just opening yourself up to what calls to your heart. And it's interesting because with this play card and have fun, you know, I feel like there's a, how do I say this? There's an aspect of this that's very like inner child to me. And what the inner child, or maybe even if you look at it from like an actual child perspective, is like there's that curiosity, there's that desire to explore, and they have fun doing it. So that's how this is coming through. I don't feel like this is like, okay, well, don't take this so serious in the sense of like, you know, you should just run around all willy-nilly dabbling in like every single thing. 5:55 on the clock, or excuse me, 55:55 on the clock. But I feel as though, which you have repeating fives, by the way, with the Hierophant and the Five of Cups. So just wanted to point that out. But I feel like it's not about running around all willy-nilly. Okay. I feel like this is more about exploring and kind of letting that inner curiosity, that inner child pull you, but having fun while you're doing it, right? So like I said, you know, a child has fun exploring, has fun being curious. And I think that's what this is speaking to here. I feel like that's the wisdom for you. But of course, take what resonates with you. Okay, maybe you've been taking life super serious, and you know, maybe you do need to like let loose a little bit and have a bit of fun, and that's perfectly okay as well. The Hermit. I mean, certainly you have some big, you know, you've got quite a few major arcana here. And so I do feel like this is certainly a month of, you know, growth and being in the depths, or in the journey, if you will, in the thick of it. I'm actually hearing like the Backyardigans song, like into the thick of it. You guys have ever watched that? But you know, with the Hermit here, I mean, this is that deep introspection. This is that truth seeker. And I feel as though that's the wisdom here. It's like seeking the truth, taking the time to dive deep, right? Stepping back from the external things and going very deep within, getting very introspective, gaining that insight, okay? Becoming aware, learning through the solitude, learning through that that quiet contemplation, and searching for truth, okay? Climbing the mountain, as it were, to find the light within you, to find the wisdom within you. I mean, I really feel like this is about, it's interesting because, again, remember with the Hierophant here, there's that energy of, you know, following your heart, trusting that inner guru. And similarly here with the Hermit, that's what's coming through as well. It's like allowing that deep inner knowing to lead you to illumination, to kind of guide that truth seeking, if you will. And again, with the stairs for you. You also have death and rebirth in the reverse. My good God, Taurus. Hello, talk about freaking transformation. Here it is yet again showing up for you. And I feel as though the wisdom here is to let the past go. I mean, I say that with so much love. It's so much easier said than done, certainly. But the strong message here is to stop resisting the change. Let the past go. This is a moment for you to transform, to move forward, to put the past behind you. Okay? But I feel like the means by which you're going to do that is by taking the time to do that inner work, okay? To get very introspective. I mean, whew. I mean, this is also the energy of stagnation, right? Like I was talking about before, it feels like a pause. So again, I feel like to get things moving, it feels like searching for the truth is what's going to create that movement. And again, is what is going to allow you to put the past behind you, to close that chapter, as I've said so many times in this reading. You have here as well, those light codes, light initiation, great teacher, awakening, and divine magic. Isn't it interesting? Because here, you've been training for this for lifetimes. You have the hermit, which is the wise man. Okay? Or woman. The Hierophant is also, is a symbol of, a teacher or a guru. And so the wisdom here is like, that is within you. There's so much freaking wisdom there for you to tap into. But but here's the thing. It's also about that having that, like that structure. Okay. So when I'm thinking about like a teacher, especially when we look at like initiates or the concept of initiates through spiritual teachings throughout the ages. Okay. There's a structure. It's not just running around all willy-nilly like, oh, whatever. There's a structure to it. And so I feel like once you learn this, I feel like it's going to awaken all of this, or once you explore this, perhaps it's going to awaken all of this wisdom within you, because you have been training for this for lifetimes. You have more power, more wisdom than you realize. And I feel as though, remember how I said over here, your magic, like it's going to awaken that wisdom within you. It's going to awaken that knowledge, that magic within you. Yes. And there's so much fear, and it's okay. But understand, like, the fear is because it's unknown. Or the fear is because, maybe there's pain that you've held on to. Right? But I feel as though all of the things that we go through, right? All of these experiences that we have are catalysts. And some of these things that we experience as tremendous pain are the biggest, for lack of better terms, like leaping points for us to really, 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 truly awaken the magic within us, to awaken the truth within us. Certainly that is the case in my experience. It took something so incredibly painful for me to end up where I'm at right now. For me to like really, really like embark on my spiritual journey and healing, and to uncover this, what we might call magic within me, and the ability to read these cards the way that I do. Certainly that's only a sliver of my experience, but it's true nonetheless. You have serious star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, and push through. So again, the wisdom that is going to best support your healing, growth, and evolution, you have it here. Come out of the cave, or be seen, right? Pushing through, seeing all of the turbulence, seeing the choppy waters there, and moving forward anyway. Pushing through, proceeding. So, again, death and rebirth in the reverse or death in the reverse is that stagnation. It's that fear. It's not being able to put the past behind us, resisting that change or fighting it. And here is the energy, like the wisdom for you is push through that. It's hard. I'm not going to beat around the bush and sprinkle it with glitter and pretend like it's going to be easy, because it won't be. But there's that encouragement to keep going, because what is on the other side of that is that new age, is transformation, is experiencing things from a much different space. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have as well memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. I mean, I find it fascinating that you have all of these kind of references to other times. So, for example, Thoth with, ancient Egyptian culture, and here memories of Atlantis. Also, times past, and there are those teachings which say that ancient Egyptian culture stemmed from Atlantean time. Certainly, maybe that's a little left field for you, but should you decide to explore the ancient traditions, mystery teachings, perhaps through spiritual science or any other form of, let's say, spiritual structure, that may not be so left field for you. But I feel like the biggest message here is, the only way that you're going to make progress, the only way that you're actually going to really take your growth and evolution to the next level is by pushing through, is by essentially like activating the technology within you, by opening up to the wisdom, the training, the knowledge that you have within you, the magic that you have within you. So I feel like it's like there's a lot here about like just keep going. Just keep going, right? Don't stall out here. You also have Anunnaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. Like I said, these things are trying to close up. The chapter is trying to close. You are in a position this month, I feel, to have, with the energy, to have this new information come in. But the thing of it is like you've got to seek it. You've got to seek it, okay? You have to take that step forward to actually bring that in. Right? Like it's certainly there are things that we might feel like fall in our lap, but you have to put the intention out there, right? So I feel as though taking the time to delve into, to dive deeply into, let's say, the portal of your heart, your soul's truth, to seek out the wisdom and knowledge, or to seek out the structure in order to bring this forth, to bring it through you, right? And to create this shift, to end these cycles, to allow you to move forward. You've got to seek that information. So it's like, give yourself the opportunity by, give yourself the opportunity to awaken that magic within you by continuing to move forward, by seeking that information that will allow you to close this chapter, that will allow you to shift the energies, right? And some of these things certainly could be related to what it is that you need to heal, seeking that out. I mean, I feel like this is going to look different for pretty much everybody, but there's a lot here about really taking the next step in your spiritual development from a very intentional space. I mean, that's like the root of it. And the means by which you do that, I feel, is closing the chapter on your past and moving forward, seeking out that which can bring that forward. Detachment. Yeah. Wisdom, right? You are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. So again, the wisdom that's going to best support your healing, growth, and evolution is to detach from the past, to close the chapter, to move forward, to let yourself do that, to let the old belief systems, old paradigms, the and I say this with so much love, but the trauma, the wounding, the losses, the grief, the suffering, the pain, detach from that. Okay, release it and allow yourself the opportunity to move on, to rewrite your story. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 10, right? That closing of a chapter, the beginning of a new one. Give yourself that opportunity. I mean, of course you can choose not to, but the encouragement here for you is to give yourself that opportunity to leave the past behind and to really discover the truth of who you are, the power, the fire that you hold within you by allowing transformation to take place. You have respect. You value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. This for me is really showing up for you, Taurus, as, really, I feel like this is a respect for your own path. Okay. I feel like this is how this is coming through. It's a respect for your path, the unfolding of your own path. It's very easy, at least in my experience, it's very easy to kind of lose that respect for our own path, to be angry about it, to be resentful about it, to, want to dismiss it, to wish it was something different. But there's a reason that things unfold the way that they do. Again, there's potential in pain. They are catalysts for growth. And so the things that we experience happen for a reason. And a lot of times, they all lead up to this beautiful unfolding of our truth. Again, like many others out there, the springboard for my own evolution was tremendous pain. Now, your version of tremendous and mine may be very, very different, which is perfectly okay. But regardless, that is what really became the catalyst for me to figure out who I truly am. Before that, I would have never dreamed that I would be reading tarot or oracle or reading energy or any of these sorts of things. No. Okay. So I feel like there's a need to have a deep respect for your path and the unfolding of it, understanding that all of these steps that you've taken throughout your life and others that have come before this one, are the way that they are for a reason. They're all, for your evolution, for your healing, for your growth. It's not punishment. It's not any of that. It's happening for you. And as creators, one of the hardest things about spirituality and this understanding of truth is we put ourselves in a lot of situations that we probably could have avoided if we were being honest with ourselves. And that is a very, very, very hard pill to swallow. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that to invalidate any experiences that you've had or to make you feel guilty or anything of that nature. Okay. But it is very much, this journey is very, very much about honesty. And it can be really freaking hard. You do have ownership here. You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them all as lessons. Right? So we can see, for example, where we've stalled our own growth, where we've plateaued, where we've been hiding. Okay? What has either propelled or stagnated our growth? Both things that we maybe are incredibly proud of and things that maybe we're not so proud of. Either way, they have all been lessons for us. They've all been a means by which we can grow and we can evolve. Wow. Okay, so Taurus, this is a lot. This is a lot to take in. I'm sure that some of these things have been a little bit harder to hear, or maybe a bit annoying, if you will, because it's been very repetitive. But I find that in those situations where things are very repetitive, or they're hard to hear, they're the things that we need to hear the most. So I pray that something here has been helpful for you or has resonated for you in some way and will be of some kind of value as you navigate your October. I want to thank you so much again for being here with me. I'm so very, very blessed to have been here with you. If something here has resonated for you or been valuable or provided insight in some way, shape, or form, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something here that may be valuable for someone else, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you doing so. So thank you for that. Wherever you are this month, whatever you're doing, I pray that you are able to find the courage to close an old chapter and to look at the beginning of a new one with enthusiasm, with inspiration, with hope. And I pray that you are able to see the power, the wisdom that you hold within you from a very deep knowing, from a very deep reverence for who you are, what you're doing here, and how much you have to offer. Take care of your evolving, magical, wise soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye.